I'm talking about everybody's going 1 minute, 2 minutes. That's pretty cool. Hello.
All right, Frogonites, welcome to the show. We got a big show tonight. I'm Doug, and that's Bonafide.
How y'all doing?
Where are y'all watching us from? Canton, Ohio in the house. Michigan in the house. Alabama. Call out a couple there, bro.
Well, I got to wait till something get here. Pensacola, Florida in the house.
Wilmington, Delaware. Canton, Ohio in the house. Welcome to the show. Hit the power button. Got it. Orlando, Florida in the house. Chicago.
Naples, Florida. That's where we're going to be next
month.
Going
down there. That's where the show's go. The reality show is going to be recording us. Mississippi Girl. Welcome, Dawn. Madison, Wisconsin. Chicago in the house. Get the bulletproof.
Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Greenville, South Carolina.
That's right up the street from your house.
That's right.
I've been there once, twice. West Texas. We got a giant show, guys. You just don't even know. So excited. Pennsylvania in the house. Welcome to the show. Lafayette, Georgia. Virginia here. Welcome to the show. I know we're starting a little late, but hey, it's going to be worth the wait. Tampa, Florida was there last month. It was hot. Naples, Florida again.
That's right.
We'll be going to John Delamini.
Louisiana,
down
Mississippi.
There. We'll be broadcasting Wisconsin. Don't forget, we're going to be in South Dakota for the big reveal. Maryland. Colorado,
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I don't even know how to say that. I'll just say
Tucson, Arizona,
New York City, Tennessee in the house. Late is great day. Bonafide. I used to live in Aiken, South Carolina for 13 years. You better go there before you get to Aiken.
That's right.
That's an inside joke. I didn't even get that. Missouri, Myrtle Beach, Frisco, Texas. Howdy from Oklahoma. West Texas, welcome to the show. You're live with Bonafide and Doug.
That's right.
Alaska. Whoa, how's it all the way up there? Can you see Russia? 2020. Do you know who won? Altoona, Pennsylvania. Guys, we're just going to call. We're only going to go 5 minutes tonight. We got such a big show. Only 5 minutes of call outs tonight. West Virginia, by God. Hi from North Carolina, California, Superfoods. Thank you for being a great moderator. Thank you, Cookie. Thank my girls that moderate. We love you. Hicksville, New York. Boise, Idaho. Go ahead. Go ahead, homie.
Northeast Georgia, Minnesota, Alabama, Massachusetts, British Columbia, Canada, South Carolina.
Springfield, Tennessee. Welcome to the show. Sussex Falls, South Dakota. That's exactly where we're going to Mike Lindell's event. I don't know how to say it. We're going to that place. It ain't where they chiseled out in there. It's right as you go over from Minnesota, right across the line. And there's a reason for that, because I believe they're going to shut Minnesota down. That's why we're going over there where Christy Gnomes is. North Carolina. Does that make sense? North Dakota. Fargo, North Dakota. There's a show called Fargo. North Carolina. Florida. Dover, Delaware. Okay, guys, 55 more seconds and then we're going live. Sebastian, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Virginia Beach.
I'm excited to Virginia Beach.
Louisiana, South Dakota.
Anchorage, Alaska. How many times are you allowed to announce yourself? Florida. Boy, they spell like I do.
That's right.
Stu Peters, that's our guest tonight. Yes. He's the most wanted guest in the country.
That's right.
Wanted. All right, guys, 30 more seconds. And Michigan in the house. Welcome to the show. Indianapolis, Indiana. Phoenix, Arizona. Cocoa Beach, Florida. 15 seconds. Another Texas, Ohio. New Jersey has it going in New Jersey. All right, without further ado, let's bring in Stu Peters
Yeah, let me tell you a little story first.
All right, tell you
last weekend, I'm in eating dinner with Lynn.
Lynn who?
Lynn Wood.
Oh, okay.
And we're sitting there, and he's looking at his phone, and he's looking at Stu Peters stuff. And I said, "Who's Stu? You know Stu?" I said, "Yeah, he knows Stu." So Lynn's watching tonight. He just texted me a while ago. So
hey, Mr. Wood.
And to be honest with you, me and Doug don't know. We don't get to watch a lot of videos, to be honest with you. But we've seen that Stu's stirring up some noise. So and Lynn vouches for him that he's going to tell us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So let's bring him in.
Without any other ado, here's Mr. Stu.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Peters.
Thanks a lot for having me, fellas. Lynn is a great man.
Love him to death.
Yeah, we have
Tell
a lot of late night conversations.
Yourself.
A little bit about myself. All right. Well, let's see. Here's the whole truth. Born and raised. I was born in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I saw some Wisconsinites as you were doing your shout outs there. Came over to my parents were divorced when I was 2 years old. So my dad stayed in Wisconsin, right on the border in a town called Prescott. My mom lived in Eden Prairie. She got remarried. So I kind of bounced back and forth between the Twin Cities metro area and La Crosse, or Prescott, excuse me. But I've lived all over the place, fellas. Let's see, graduated from Apple Valley High School in Apple Valley, Minnesota. And I've lived right after that, I went to California. I lived there for 2 years. And just a great experience, but I'm glad that I don't live there anymore. And here I am in the People's Republic of Minnesota saying I'm glad I don't live in California.
Yeah.
But and so then I've lived in New York. I've done hip hop music, and I spent 18 years of my life chasing wanted fugitives. Got lost on my way to a real career, and built an agency called U.S. Fugitive Apprehension, which then turned into the Twin Cities Apprehension Team. And we quickly became the most prolific, most successful private bounty hunting / fugitive apprehension agency in the country, responsible for jailing thousands of people wanted for felony violent crimes against persons, gangs, guns, drugs, rape, murder, that kind of deal. So
good work.
Yeah. Before I was kicked off of YouTube, there was all kinds of videos of our work, and it was great. But when I started this show, see, it was an easy transition because I just went from investigating one class of criminal to another class of criminal. And,
the higher class.
Yeah, exactly. Or lower class, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. Well, they're the swamp creatures anyway.
They're horrible. They're horrible people.
Gosh. There's
and I know that we're on YouTube, so I'm going to try to refrain from telling you exactly who they are. But you know who they are.
Oh yeah, we definitely.
So or what they are. But anyways, all those memories gone. All those fugitive apprehension memories gone. YouTube pulled the plug on me. All my content is gone. And I think that's a travesty. I think that's theft. I think that's theft of property. Yeah. And so they've got something coming from Stu Peters. Don't worry about it. I haven't gone away completely, and YouTube hasn't heard the last out of me. So
have you met Dog the Bounty Hunter? I just had to ask
that. Actually, Dog's son Leland is a close personal friend of mine.
Oh, really?
And,
that's cool.
So as far as Dog, I respect what Dog did as far as for the bounty hunting, the world of bounty hunting. People didn't know what that was. People didn't really understand how that worked until he brought it to the mainstream and gave people kind of a clear understanding of how it sort of works a little bit, sort of, kind of.
Right.
But it's not, it's not what you see on TV. There's a lot of, surveillance and door kicking and gunslinging. And I was in and out of a lot of really nasty trap houses, I guess you would say.
Yeah. Right.
Places that kids shouldn't be sleeping in feces around crack pipes and spent needles and weapons, things like that. It's you see a lot in 18 years of doing that. People that do not want to go to prison and will do anything to keep from getting there. They're pretty resourceful, but we were more so resourceful. So
the thing that I remember the most about him, and it wasn't a show that he did on TV, was he had a set. And he went to Mexico and got that rapist and drug him back to the United States. That's what I remember about him. And they locked him up for that because he went across. They said, if you come down here in our country and do that, we're going to lock you up. And he was in jail for some time over that. Yeah. But that's how I got to know who he was.
They made good on their promise. We went down and got a rapist actually in Mexico, coincidentally, just across the border from Eagle Pass, Texas. In
Yep.
what is it called? Oh man, I forget the name of this town now. What is it called? Right across from Eagle Pass.
Well, I know it too because I used to drive trucks and right across from
It's
there.
gonna drive me nuts trying to think of this. But the guy, what he didn't understand is that the cartel doesn't appreciate the rape of young children any more than you or I do.
Right.
And they don't want a guy like that hanging out in their town.
Right.
And these cartel controlled towns and cities are probably some of the safest places to be because they don't put up with that BS. They're not tolerating that nonsense behavior. And so basically what we did is I told the guy, we got a hold of him, and I told his family, I said, listen, there's two options here. We're going to stand at Eagle Pass at the CBP border crossing. He can walk across that bridge to us and be taken into custody, and we'll transport him back to Hennepin County, Minneapolis.
Right.
Or I can put his face in the Eagle Pass News Leader, because that is the publication that everybody over there reads, including the Mexican drug cartel. And when they find out what he's wanted for, we won't have to worry about bringing him back. We'll just deliver a death certificate to the courts, and we'll be off the bond, because the biggest piece left to him will probably be the size of a lima bean. And they got the word to him, and we didn't ever have to go into Mexico. He came walking across to us. So it was
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's still in prison.
Pretty good.
But yeah, I mean, it's just finding ways to, it's like a chess game, and that, I think that's the part of that thing that I miss the most. At first, obviously you get into it, the door kicking, gunsling and cowboy stuff is pretty fun. But then you realize these are people that are trying to outsmart you. These are people that are trying to, to hide, and playing that game of chess, learning who these people are, developing a profile, who they hang out with, who their family is, all that kind of stuff, to me was really the part that I missed the most, I think. But I'm doing it still here now.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. It's funny how it's exactly the same what you're doing right now.
Yeah, putting the pieces together, digging.
So what bring you into this ram of work where you're doing podcasts, exposing the truth for what it really is, as it's not reported, as we know, on our news channel, because they're completely fake? Is that what bring you into it, telling the truth about what's going on?
It started as a podcast with myself and Richard Leonard, who, by the way, he's my brother. There's no other way to put it. Blood wouldn't bring us closer together. Purple Heart recipient, multiple times deployed with the U.S. Army Minnesota National Guard, a Red Bull. And he was my partner at work.
Right.
And, every day I put my life in his hands, and vice versa. So we started doing this show together. It was called Patriotically Correct, because we weren't politically correct. And so, it was kind of a nonsensical show where we just really kind of just aired out our frustrations. And, soon we were getting dinged on YouTube and censored here and censored there. And then pretty soon we just started, hey, we should start interviewing some people, and just started reaching out to people. And pretty soon the guests got a little bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden we got John Voight coming on the show, and
wow, people
like Paul Gosar, and, some really interesting people. And then all of a sudden Lynn Wood comes on. Yep. And from there, the audience went bing, because people were like, oh, wow, Lynn is over here telling the truth. And that was just right after he had been kicked off of Twitter. It was right after the fraudulent, certification of this of this election, and so from there, it really became, Richard and I stopped doing it together, and I took it, changed it over to the Stu Peters show. And it's just, I was just looking, number 4 podcast in America right now.
Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you. And here's the deal. I didn't even know that. This last Saturday, I was at my son's baseball tournament, and somebody texted me, hey, congratulations on breaking the top 10. I go, top 10 what? Top 10 podcast in America, and I go, what? Are you kidding me? And they sent me a screenshot of this deal. I'm like, wow, I'm number 9. That's incredible. 2 days later, I was number 7, and I just looked here now, and I'm number 4. I'm going for that number 1 spot.
That'd be awesome. So how long have you been doing this show on your own, Stu?
5 months.
Really?
He's crushing it.
Yeah,
yes,
brand new.
That is awesome.
So on my own 5 months, we I started this whole thing in June. Actually, a year ago tomorrow, my mom's birthday, July 31st. We started this thing. And so that was when we just started talking smack on the radio or on the whatever internet, And I've got a history in radio. I worked for Clear Channel. I was hired and fired from those people, I think, 18,000 times or so. And so I know, I'm no stranger to the microphone. And then plus my music career as a rapper. You guys like rap, I know you do.
Go get it. Come on, give us some rap, man.
Did you know that Outlaw Morgan used to be a rapper? You ever heard of Outlaw Morgan?
I did not know that. Yes, I've heard of Outlaw Morgan, but no,
he's a good guy. He used to be. His name was Low Key.
Oh,
and I'm talking about. I'm talking about 20.
I've heard of Low Key.
That Low Key is Outlaw Morgan. I known him 20 years ago. He lived up in Salisbury, North Carolina, and I lived in Mooresville when I was working with NASCAR.
Well, now, if you would have told me that, Hootie would become Darius Rucker and he'd become country
that
music.
Is pretty crazy.
But, the music hasn't changed, though,
at
all. I mean, I still don't really understand what he's really saying or what he's talking about, but I really appreciate the passion with which he's saying it. So, I'm a Darius fan.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching YouTube one day, and there he pops up with a beard.
You let her cry.
Everybody sang them songs forever, man. Ain't they?
Man. Yep.
You got tired of them, and then when you hear them again, you still sing to them all. You know what I mean?
Turn them all the way up when they come on. I'm telling you. Yep. So Hootie and the Blowfish, man. Darius. Shout out to Darius. Maybe I should have that guy on the show.
From South Carolina, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the guys in the music industry are real careful about who they talk to because we know who controls.
But here's the truth about
and who controls Hollywood.
It's time for that to stop.
Yep,
it is.
That is one of the main focuses of what I'm doing is I'm trying to push that needle of listen. When did it become acceptable in America to shadow or suppress your authenticity because of a mob of loud people with bullhorns and fire torches? I mean, that's just not okay. Yep. We're being threatened with canceling. And let me tell you something. Mike Lindell showed what true cancel culture is all about today, taking $50 million away from Fox or whatever it was. I mean, he removed every single ad from Fox. That says a lot about that cancel culture stuff. And if you want to win this game, you got to hit them in the wallet. You got to hit them with your money. A guy says, you're not allowed in here unless you're vaccinated. I will never spend another dollar in here again. And I absolutely mean it under any circumstances ever. I love your steak, but I will never step foot back in here again. I will eat dog, off the ground before I come back in here. I will never spend a dollar. And that's what we have to do. But we have to be unified in those efforts.
Well, that's,
and we need to let them know. And we need to let them know we feel that way about it.
Well,
I you understand, we need to let the restaurant know, hey, we're not coming back here.
And they'll go, okay, yeah, whatever. But if you listen, it used to be called making a scene. And I'm not suggesting anybody should get arrested for disorderly conduct or anything like that. But I'm going to say it loud enough to where everybody in that restaurant hears me. And you know what? I know damn well I'll probably leave there with a standing ovation and a round of applause by the time I get done with that manager or that restaurant owner, because I'm going to make my point known. Where were you a year and a half ago? Show me your pictures of your kids and your grandkids. Are you telling me that you'd rather see them, with a face muzzle on, restricting their oxygen intake every day? Are you really telling me that you want to normalize that kind of lifestyle for your kids growing up in the freest, the best country indisputably the planet has ever seen? Are you telling me that that's really, because I know you're lying to me. So don't you dare say that that's what you want for these kids. Don't tell me that you want to wear a mask. This isn't, listen, that's not America. And if that's if that is the environment that you want, then might I suggest a country that welcomes and embraces Sharia law? But that's not us. That's not what we do. And I'm about damn tired of people coming here from all over the globe. Listen, I am the most pro-immigration guy that you would ever know in your life. Living in California and specifically in New York gave me such an appreciation for the melting pot environment. I love hearing about other people. I love it. I love where are you from? So what do you eat there? Oh yeah. What customs do you have? Wearing shoes is a faux pas. Oh, okay. Learning, it's really interesting to me. I want people to come here because you know why? This is the greatest nation on the planet. People want to come here. Come here legally. Or well, and that would still be legal if you're really seeking asylum because you're really fleeing from some danger, some real oppression, some real racism, right? Not this nonsense inviting you in stuff, nonsense crap. But for the other people that come here under illegal pretense without going through the process, and then they want to turn this country into exactly the thing that they just left.
That is crazy.
What kind of sense does that make?
And then they complain about when they get here how terrible it is here. Well, don't come here.
Yeah, and then they want to change this. You know, Somalians want to change it into Somalia. I'm sorry, but no, you left there to come here. Yeah, you left there to come here.
What's your opinion on that critical race theory they're trying to push down the kids' throats in school?
That is the most Marxist, most horrific, most demographically it's an irreversible, detrimental punishment. It's child abuse.
Absolutely.
You're going to tell my child that because he was born white, he's inherently racist. And then you're going to make him apologize for his whiteness, then graduate to denouncing his whiteness, and then ultimately become a white abolitionist and help to eradicate whiteness altogether in the classroom environment, in the collegiate environment, in society. I mean, if that isn't out and out racist, I don't know what is.
Yes.
But
I had no clue that was being taught. I don't have any kids in school anymore, but I can kind of see it, now.
And the guy that's writing the book, Ibram X. Kendi, this guy grew up with both parents in the home. One was a doctor or something. They both grew up very, very comfortable, right? He grew up very comfortable. He never wanted for anything. He never suffered. He never struggled. He didn't live in the ghetto. He wasn't ever oppressed. He never wanted for anything that he couldn't have because he's a black guy. Give me a break. He led a silver spoon life. He has like 4 different degrees. He's got a PhD. He went to some of the most elite schools. By the way, not historically black universities. He didn't go to those schools. And now he's a professor. What has this guy ever wanted for? What has he ever longed for that he doesn't have? But now he saw the ability, he saw the quick buck, he saw the millions of dollars that he can make by using people's emotions, propaganda that the media will then spread, and then the threat of violence and revolt if somebody doesn't want to teach this theory, this critical race. That's what's going to happen. Because if this university in SoCal or that one in Chicago or this one in Syracuse, if they don't use that, you better believe that Black Lives Matter and Antifa have already been spun up by people like Eric Holder and Barack Obama to cause a scene and make problems and instill violence on those communities until those schools are pressured into doing it. I have never seen so many uncomfortable people on the street. I mean, I'm telling you something.
You're right.
You go to a grocery store or you go to a restaurant, right? I mean, there's white people, there's black people, there's Mexican people. I mean, there's folks from everywhere, right? I used to just go, hey, how you doing? And I still do. And most other folks used to, hey, how you doing? It doesn't matter who you were passing because we're not an inherently racist country.
Exactly.
There's nothing systemic about racism here. White supremacy is not thriving amongst our police officers or anywhere in this country. Do I think there's racism? Absolutely. I'm not an idiot, and I'll never deny that. And I think it's really ugly. But now you watch little white Karens running way out of the way. Like they'll trip over themselves to go hold the door for a black lady just to prove, to virtue signal, I'm not racist. It's the most uncomfortable and awkward thing I've ever seen in my life. And the thing is that if it was legitimately authentic, that would be one thing. But you can tell it's not. It's contrived, it's fake, and they're doing it out of fear of acceptance or being cast away from their social group or being canceled. They're afraid that their boss might be lingering in the coffee shop and see that they didn't hold the door for a black lady, and that's racist.
They're teaching our kids, Stu, to hate America and hate everything America stands for.
Based on lies. Nothing but lies. Yep. And I think that's the part that drives me the most crazy. The three of us can agree 100% that this is the best nation the world has ever seen.
By far.
Yep. I've got friends that live in Sweden, and basically I've met them at car shows. I've done a bunch of car stuff before I got into this, and they basically told me that we was like 7 years behind them with what's going on in America. And I've had a couple people from overseas tell me that they see the exact same things going on here that they seen a few years earlier in their own countries. And one of them being Sweden. It's pretty bad. And over there, it's a little different. The racism is based between whites and Muslims. Like here, it's between blacks and whites. Over there, the Muslims have taken over the schools, it's taken over the government. So it's a little different than it is here. It's not racism color, it's racism religion.
Yeah. Well, we have that here too. I mean, obviously everything is polarized here now. You know, they want you to be divided. They want you and I, bona fide, to be divided, and Doug is supposed to be divided from you and from me because we might have some sort of a different belief system. We might be a different denomination. Our religion might be a little bit different. And so therefore we're divided by our religious beliefs. We might not agree on a specific candidate because I think he's a rhino and you think he's America first. And so now we're divided on our political ideologies.
Yep.
You know, it used to be a Republican was a Republican and a Democrat was a Democrat. It's only now because of the Great Awakening that we realize that a lot of these Republicans are absolutely deep state Democrats, really, that just caught on to they're going to vote for Republicans now, so we better jump over to that party. I think one of them happens to be down in Georgia right now called Vernon Jones.
That's right.
But, you know, these divisions, what isn't a division at this point? When you can politicize a mask, when you can politicize a virus, like a cold, right? That nearly 100% of the people are living. I mean, we can politicize that and lock down a world economy, damn near bankrupt America based on a virus that almost everybody is beating and recovering from. And then, I mean, am I living in bizarro world?
I mean, they're not done yet.
No, they're not done.
Oh my goodness. Let me
ask you this, Stu. What do you think? Do you think the people are going to be fooled again, to put the mask on again, to go to locks down again? Your honest opinion. I mean, I have to say, I got a few friends. I never fell for it. The only time I ever wore a mask is to get on a plane. And basically, I didn't want to drive there. So I put up with that. But I've drawn the line there now. Me and Doug are going to drive to South Dakota. But do you feel like this next wave, this next deal that they're pushing, and we've got, matter of fact, people in the chat are talking about where mask mandates are coming back again. How do you feel that, are they going to take it again? I'm not talking about us, because we're not, but let's just say a majority. Do you think people are going to be fooled again?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's, I can tell you what I think and I can tell you what I hope. And I can tell you what I pray for. And they're all different things.
Yep.
But, you know, sadly, we live in a place where the information superhighway, and stick with me on this for a second, because I'm going to kind of go around the block to get across the street here.
Yep.
The information superhighway, the news cycle, for example, used to be 24 hours. Right. The news cycle now is about 24 seconds.
Yep.
People want immediate gratification. People don't want to read. Forget about it. If you give somebody an article or a book, they're not going to sit down and read an article or a book. They want something that they can read the headline and go, okay, I've made up my mind. They can pick up these smartphones and they can go, okay, yep, okay, got it, boom, done. I've learned about it. Immediate gratification. That's why we have all these apps. That's why you can Apple Pay. That's why, I mean, everything is about immediate response, immediate gratification. Yep. And so I think what happens is, as life was always busy, right? You have, let's just say, you take my family, for example, a husband, a wife, 3 kids. They're getting older. They're involved with sports. They're playing hockey. We've got gymnastics. We've got baseball. We've got one traveling. We're torn apart because we're here, we're there, we're separated. Okay, I'll be here and you're going to be there. And you got these kids and I got that one. Yeah, everybody's always got a kid. And then, well, what are we going to do for supper? And what about nap time for the baby? And we got this going on and that. Families are busy taking care of the family business that they've always been busy taking care of, right?
Yep.
That part hasn't changed. But now you add in, well, then you got to go to work too, right? I mean, don't forget about that. You got to earn a paycheck to pay for all this stuff, which, by the way, is inflating at alarming rates. That's not by accident either. And so now you've added all this information, and the information is so confusing that you become so preoccupied with it that you have to pay attention here and there. But because of the busyness of the life in general that you've always been busy doing, what have people been groomed to do? People are, creatures of habit, right? We are a product of our upbringing. There's no denying that.
Right.
Yep.
It's proven. I mean, what fatherless homes lead to usually criminal kids, a lot of times, more oftentimes than not. Sexual abuse kids usually turn into sexual molesters when they get older. I mean, these are you are a product of your upbringing. There's no denying that. Yep. And if your father and your mother, for example, you were in a house where you grew up and Fox News was always on in the background, it's likely that as you get older, Fox News is just going to kind of be on in the background. You kind of repeat what's comfortable for you. And so I think that we live in an age where people understand that the information is constantly flowing because the headlines are coming out and it's breaking this and newsflash that and Fox News alert. And you get the swing and the ding and all that. And it's cool. And you look at it and you go, wow, whoa. And what happens is they hear it in passing, but they're hearing the propaganda that's designed by the globalists. And they don't really have a clear understanding that absolutely 100% of everything that they are programming, downloading to their brain is fake.
Yep.
All of it. The guests, the pundits, the opinions, the statistics, all of it. Fake. It's all fake. But they don't understand that because that is their reality. And so when Tony Fauci or the CDC or the administrator, Biden, when they say it's time to put a mask back on, I mean, Red Voice Media, StuPeters.tv, we just did a story here about an hour ago. The White House is preparing for a fall of lockdowns, a nationwide lockdown. That's going to be what people are hearing. The country's bracing for lockdown. Okay, so what is that going to cause? Well, it's going to cause a lot of dissent. It's going to cause a lot of chaos, but it's also going to cause what? A lot of preparation. Now, watch what happens to the cost of goods, because these people know that what's going to happen is people are going to start prepping for this lockdown. Yes. They're going to remember all the things that they ran out of last time, which in my opinion was a soft test. How far can we push free citizens, heavy air quotes on free?
Yep.
How far can we push them until we really start to see some resistance?
Well, I think we're there.
Well, let's tamper with an election.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's start jailing people because of their political ideologies and the candidates that they support. Okay, now let's lock people down in the name of a virus. Okay, now let's announce that virus, everybody is surviving, everybody's recovering from it. Now let's roll out a vaccine for the virus that everybody's recovering from. Now let's leave the inserts on that blank. Now let's have a bunch of mis and disinformation surrounding this thing. Now let's have people be totally against it and then switch to being for it. And that the rapid pace just starts picking up, and then the numbers are getting throttled. And the numbers are getting throttled, and people are dying, and nobody knows why. And now the Delta variant, and and then you start digging into this stuff. And the more you dig into it, the more you realize this is a rabbit hole that goes so deep. And when you start playing around this monkey business of playing around with these people and big pharma, the people that are signing these deals, we just exposed today the Pfizer contract, certified signatures. I mean, that was probably, between that story and the Pfizer employee that I did the day before yesterday, probably the two biggest interviews that I will ever do in my career. The two most important pieces of content, because it truly tells people who these people are and what the end game is.
Yep.
And if we cannot get, now I'm thankful. God has, I gave my platform to God. Okay. And then I allow the people to control the platform. That's what makes this thing so special. That's why it's number 4 in the country, because a lot of people ask me, Stu, why don't you take live callers on your show? Because I am the live caller. I have the questions just like you do.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
so when I'm talking to Louis Gomart and Paul Gosar and Marjorie Taylor Greene or Mike Lindell or Lynn Wood or whoever I'm interviewing on the program, I'm asking them questions that I think that we all want the answers to, right? I'm not some trained collegiate scholar, super articulate graduate journalist broadcasting live from the Sean Hannity repetitive zone. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's my opinion that you could have slipped into a coma 6 years ago, woke up today, and you would not have missed a Sean Hannity show. But these guys are all fake, and they're using propagandist terms. Like, say, let's just take, for example, this. What's the big story that you're hearing everybody over at Fox talking about? It's the same big story that they're talking about on CNN. But hold on a minute. These guys are supposed to be arch enemies, right? So why are they reading from the same script? Why
because
are they
they're given the script to repeat?
Exactly. And what's that big story right now? Oh, masking on Capitol Hill in Nancy's house, and it's now a felony, and you're going to get arrested.
Yes.
And blah, blah,
all
blah,
federal employees will be required to get the poke.
Yeah. We know.
Yep.
And so that's being covered in the news. So Sean Hannity will cover that and look at this revolt and, oh my gosh, what's going on? But he'll never take it to the next step. He'll never say, but wait a minute, because people don't care about whether or not Madison Cawthorn goes to jail because he violated a mask mandate. They're so out of touch with that. And those people up there are so out of touch with us. And that's where the big disconnect is here. These people forget, either they forget that they went there to represent our will, they get bought and paid for and influenced not to, or Washington, D.C. is a place that just sucks your soul right out of you. One of the three, but there's nothing in between. And then you have your small group of fighters who will remain true. And those are the people that we need to hold up. People like Candace Taylor in Georgia, people that are there right now, people that Dr. Scott Jensen here in Minnesota running for governor. But we have to wrap up this election integrity. That is my main focus. Election integrity, exposing the truth. And here's what I will tell you the truth is, that no major broadcast journalist will tell you. And I'm doing ratings that crush Sean Hannity. By the way, on that chart where I told you I'm number 4, he's number 76.
Wow.
And in that number 76, awesome, next to that name and next to the number 76, there's a down arrow in red. Last time I checked, a big downward facing red arrow next to your name is not a good thing. Not a good thing.
Exactly right.
And the reason that that's happening is because people are waking up to the truth. And we do more numbers here on the Stu Peters Show than he does having a Fox News platform. And that's because people are fed up. They're tired of this. But the truth that they will not say, and I'm just going to say it. I'll just say the words right now. And I'm sorry if this gets you kicked off of YouTube, I'm sorry, but it's got to be said. January 6th is nothing more than a distraction away from November 3rd.
Yep.
That's all it is. And when you understand that, things will become a lot more clear to you.
The exact same thing is going on right now with what's fixing to go on in South Dakota. It's kind of weird how all this is coming in the news, but Mike Lindell gets absolutely no news with what's going to take place in what? How many weeks we got? 2 weeks till we go there, Doug. Are you going there?
A week and a half.
That's on the 29th, isn't it? Wait, no.
It's on the 10th through the 12th of August.
Is that the what is that? The Health and Freedom thing?
No, that's the Cyber Symposium.
Okay, I haven't been invited, so I don't know. And
we can get you invited.
We can get you taken care of.
I just talked to Mike Lindell earlier today. I called him after I saw the deal with he pulled his ads, and he's Stu, I got to call you back in 10 minutes, and then he didn't call back. But I talked to Mike a lot. I'm up at Frank's Speech. The show is broadcast there over at Frank's Speech on his platform, and it's doing really well over there as well. People love it. But what Mike has experienced and at what he has endured, and then at the same time rolling his shoulders back, taking every arrow, taking every hit, held his head up high. The guy has spent millions and millions of dollars of his own personal money on attorneys, researchers, forensic analysts, all these things. And now he's offering $5 million of his own money to anybody who can debunk his stuff.
That's exactly right. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
And not one peep.
Right.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine living in times where something like that is going on and you are so complicit, so dirty that you're willing to withhold that information? And that's the story that I wanted to tell you. So remember I told you beforehand, I want to tell you a story. I just got
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Literally just before I came on this platform, I was texting with a guy who is like the chief editor at one of these big national print publications, right? And he saw the stories that I've been doing. Stu, I can't go with this stuff. Why? Well, because you didn't say allegedly here. when you were doing this monologue. And because you said it reads instead of the contract reads. So you're telling me that because of a punctuation technicality, you now cannot run with what could quite possibly be the biggest story of the year on a whistleblower that used to be an employee at this pharmaceutical company that is now reportedly making $33.5 billion in their first quarter of earnings that was published? Are you telling me that you can't print this story and bring this to the masses because I missed a punctuation mark, or I said it instead of the contract, which, by the way, I said the contract about 300 times before I said it, so only an idiot wouldn't know what the F I was talking about. I'm sorry, but I'm getting really upset.
I understand.
So you're going to take all of this information and put it in a circular file, preventing people from seeing the truth because of a technicality and punctuation, because I'm not an elitist journalist. You, sir, are the problem, period. You are the problem. You are everything that is wrong with America and this world right now, because the truth would stop this thing dead in its tracks.
Yep.
Stop it. Can you imagine billions of global citizens knowing what we know?
It'd be incredible.
There's so many people have no idea what's going on. They just think everything is just fine and dandy.
Stu, do you want to share that story with us, or do you want us to send everybody to your website to is it real long, or can you just give us a gist of it?
I will share it with you. I'm cautious of your platform. I've been kicked off of here, and I don't want you guys to get kicked off of here. But I mean, I can share it.
We say Valvoline because this is damn good oil.
Yeah.
All
right. So the employee that used to work at the Valvoline company,
Yep,
exposed exactly what's in these things. And she had the receipts. She's got the receipts.
Really?
She shows it all. It's all there. It's all there. She connects one company to the next, where they are, and what's in the thing. And it explains why certain numbers are what they are. It explains why kids are getting sick. Any kid would get sick if they drink that oil, right? That's why. It explains why this variant is here. It explains why other cars that are parked next to a car that has Valvoline oil in it are malfunctioning and breaking down.
Yep.
It explains all of it. Biggest story.
All the rumors we've heard. Basically, she has the
receipts,
tracker.
proof right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
But because of a technicality in the way that I interviewed her, and because at the time that she was saying this slide should have been up, but instead this slide was up. Regardless, we posted all of the slides at stewpeters.tv so that anybody who wants the information can just scroll down and click on it. You can see the link and all the source documents are there. But you can't make this national news because of that. Because I'm not a professional broadcast journalist, and I didn't know that you were supposed to say allegedly one time here or there. But there is no allegedly if it's fact.
That's
right.
You know,
allegedly means your opinion, right?
For example, if I say today that George Floyd was allegedly murdered, I'll get canceled. He was murdered, right? It's been decided. Derek Chauvin was convicted, so George Floyd was murdered, and that's the only way that I'm allowed.
Allegedly, they say.
Yeah, but I am the only. That's the only thing that you're allowed to say. You're only allowed to refer to George Floyd's death as murder now because that's what the court ruled. That's what the jury ruled, and that's what the court ordered. Period. So it's the same thing. Then today, so over the last couple of days, there was something trending on Twitter, hashtag Pfizer leak. Okay, that was a trending thing where this guy alleged to have gained access to and downloaded and had personally the contracts between big companies that manufacture oil, Valvoline products, and countries, world governments, the contracts between them. You wouldn't believe what's in these contracts. You would not believe it. The Valvoline makers, manufacturers have become the new government. And the language that's inside of the contracts basically says that you're going to be drinking oil whenever Valvoline, the companies, want you to. And the countries, the world governments have no choice but to administer it. They can't get out of paying for it, all these things. So I was like, okay, hold on a second. So this guy went on over at InfoWars. He was on the American Journal. Okay. And I watched the interview, and I like Alex Jones. I like InfoWars. I think they have a purpose. They serve that purpose. They do a good job with what they're doing. They're a great brand. A lot of people follow them. They introduce a lot of people to the truth, or at least provide them with information that they in turn can then go use their own discernment to figure out if it's true or not.
Yep.
But the interview was conducted in such a way that, it was really more about the hype and the explosion of the content, right? To get it out there right now. The problem with that is you get shut down in a lot of places, and you get fact checked, and then you go research it, and the first thing that pops up is all this. This is debunked. This is trash. This is garbage. This is fake. Which is, if you search Stu Peters and you go click on news, that's all you're going to see. Fact checks. False, 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 false. But people don't understand that these fact checkers are not the arbiters of fact. They're liars. They're paid by the same globalists that pay Sean Hannity and every other news anchor and outlet. They're not telling the truth. But anyway, so I had this guy on, and my approach on this was more from a news perspective. I was trying to not allow myself to be fact checked. So what I did is I asked a lot of questions, and then I pushed back on him. How can you verify the validity of this contract? How can you verify that this was actually signed by a representative of the manufacturer of that Valvoline? How can you honestly certify that a member of the government signed this thing? Show me. And he showed me live on the show, irrefutable, 100% fact evidence that this contract is legit. So now we know the contract is legit. Wait till you see the language in the contract. And now this was from 3 different countries. One of them was Brazil, and then there were 2 others. I think Albania was one, and there was another one. But we haven't seen one from the United States. But we can assume that what happens is contract writing, as I articulated in my open today, is very expensive, and it's a long process. Lynn Wood knows that better than anybody. Contract writing is a long and expensive process.
Yes.
So what happens is big companies, big law firms have particular templates for different types of contracts. You go see a marriage attorney. They probably have a prenuptial agreement templates set up that then they will just make minor adjustments to based on the country, in this case, talking about Valvoline manufacturers. Right. So with that being said, the contracts that we saw, the 3 of them from those 3 different countries were pretty much synonymous. They were pretty much mirror images. So I would imagine it would be easy to speculate that the contract that was signed here in our country is almost exactly the same. And if that is the case, shouldn't it be discoverable by you and I? If somebody's signing a contract, if a third party, particularly our government, is signing a contract that directly impacts your health, that directly impacts the health of your kids and future generations to come, shouldn't that be something that's discoverable? And why is it okay to hide it? Who's signing these things? And why are they being hidden by big tech? Those are questions that Americans deserve answers to. Global citizens deserve answers to. And this isn't just about America anymore. This is a concerted global effort, just like November 3rd was, just like Russiagate, Spygate, just like the political assassination of a sitting president, multiple failed coup d'etats.
Yep.
And I these are all trigger words for YouTube. I'm sorry, but
I understand.
Yeah.
So as American citizens, where do we go from here, and what can we do other than start attending all these meetings, the city council meetings, school board meetings, get involved in local politics, and start questioning everything?
Well, I think that those are all very valuable things. And I think that people underestimate the importance of getting involved with politics, actually running for office locally. Local has to be made sexy again. This isn't about federal elections. And that's why the down ballot was so important for these hijackers on November 3rd. Because if you have a guy at the top who's your guy, but everybody below him is not his guy, he'll never be able to accomplish anything. So the down ballot was extremely important. And that's why systemically you'll see that there was a systematic effort to make that switch there. And so all the issues that we're talking about, critical race theory, mandates, masking, proof of inoculation, all these things, who decides those things? Your local government.
Absolutely.
Your school boards, your city council, your county commissioners. These are the people that have been able to run rogue because nobody cares. Nobody pays attention. We
Yep.
have to pay attention, and people like you and myself have to be able to get involved and actually do it. So my thing is I'm doing the show. That's my contribution.
Right.
But then also hitting them where it hurts, hitting them in the wallet. When you say that you're going to refuse to participate and you're going to refuse to patronize that business anymore, you have to actually mean it. And then you have to go tell everybody. And then the thing that I would say that I think is probably the most important right now is knowing who we are, knowing where we are, knowing that this is a huge country, and knowing that we are the majority.
Yep.
Do not let this psyop become successful in detaching you from what is really reality. Get out there, talk to people,
Right.
show them your shirt, show them your socks, tell them that you trust in God. Tell them that, ask them what they know, educate them. And I bet you will find out that so many people that were uncomfortable about talking about it are going to tell you, oh my God, you feel the same way? I'm not crazy?
Yep.
Because I will bet you the numbers that we're hearing, a third of the people that are resisting the Valvoline are not oiled well enough, and that's what's making the car break down. I don't believe that for 1 second. There's no way you're going to tell me that 2/3 of these cars have that engine oil in it. I'm not buying it. Because there's too many questions around it, gents. There's way too many questions around this. That's just a line of propaganda to try to sweep everybody up. And they knew that there was going to be resistance to this, which is why they're going to try to make your life a living hell until you do it. Don't do it. Chris Sky, I don't know if you heard of the guy.
Yes.
He's a patriot from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to steal his line because he says it the best. Unified non-compliance.
There you go.
That is what we need. Unified non-compliance. And if you just say no, and we all do it, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. They don't have a chance against us. We are the machine. And I will also tell you this. I will never instigate violence, but I want to tell you something. Don't be intimidated by the feeling that we've lost the military. Those are just a few people up at the top that have gone woke.
Right.
Okay, they don't speak for the entire military. Have faith in your military, support your military, but also remember this. Don't be scared of the military. Don't be scared of them, because you remember the British, they outnumbered big time. They had a lot more weaponry, big time, right? Didn't they? Didn't they? Yeah. So just remember
Absolutely.
Yep. You're right.
Just remember that. It's about thinking. It's about outsmarting your opponent. It's about knowing what their weaknesses are, because every Goliath, every giant has an Achilles heel. And these people that we're talking about, they are going to be written about in history books. And what's going to be written about them is how we defeated them once again.
I'd say you're absolutely correct. Okay? Just like in the Bible, what was it? 400 men defeated thousands of men because they were stronger when they came as one, and the other army wasn't together. So that's absolutely true. If we come together as one, together,
We have to.
it's a matter
It's
of
happening. It's happening right now.
So it's not a matter of I lost my place for a second here. We have to bring everybody together, because it's not just the United States. It's just a battle for humanity.
That's right. This is good versus
The whole
evil.
world.
This is a battle of good versus evil.
Yep.
And
All
you know
the
what
way back to the Bible.
The beautiful thing is, we know at the end, we know God wins.
God will win.
We
But
know that.
God's never won a war without his people.
That's right. And
We have to be the warriors to line up, to
Yep.
ask the question.
So you got to listen to
fight the
him.
battle.
You got to ask him what he wants you to do, and you got to really listen. And some things are not going to be comfortable. Believe me, I'm not very comfortable. I'm not very comfortable a lot of days. I'm looking under my truck. I'm looking under my truck for weird objects. You know, I'm checking brake lines before I go places. I'm checking to make sure people aren't following me. I mean, I'm doing all the tactics that I used to do when I was conducting surveillance, all that stuff. And that's not comfortable, being the father of 3 kids and trying to hide it from my wife.
Right.
I don't want to freak her out.
Right.
You know, but I mean, listen, there's a lot of people out here putting their necks on the line. Do your part. Do your part. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do a podcast. You don't have to have a studio and a microphone. You don't have to, but do your part. Figure out something that you can do. And if your part is just non-compliance, then great, because that's going to take a lot of strength, especially when everybody in your family is complying. And the other thing that I want to say, speaking of that, we've been in the habit of calling these people sheep, right? We've been in the habit of, and I'm guilty of this, talking badly about the sheep. We got to stop that. We got to stop that, because those are God's children.
Right.
They have been misled. They are involuntarily ignorant. They really are. They don't choose.
You're right.
That they don't choose that message. They don't choose to have been propagandized like that. We need to save these people. That is our job. And so even if your job is to evangelize to one person, to wake one person up to the truth every day, then by golly, that person is going to, the beautiful thing about the Great Awakening, look at what it's done. It's made everybody talk so much. It's made shows like this one, number 4 in the country, for crying out loud.
Right. Absolutely.
Because it's the truth and people want to hear it. And once they hear it, they get excited about it because they felt like this. They knew in their heart of hearts that something was not right. They knew it. They know that Washington, D.C. is not supposed to be dark. They knew that it's not supposed to be unoccupied and surrounded by electrified razor wire. Everybody knows that there's something going on.
Everybody.
But they feel crazy. And let me tell you something, they're not. And if you can tell them that, they are going to be so elated, so excited that you know what they're going to do? They're going to run out of their house and they're going to tell 10, 15, 20 people.
That's exactly what's got to happen. Exactly.
That's right. This has to be a grassroots.
We started doing these little meetings. And when I done the last one, I done one in Spartanburg a few weeks ago. And I asked everybody there, and I'm going to say at least 80% of the people raised their hand, said they'd never been to one before. And then the next thing you know, we're doing more and we're doing more and we're doing more. And these people in the audience are calling me about how to do a meeting and how to set up speakers and everything, and just waking up each county. It is incredible how this is going. But there was one thing I was wanting to ask you about, because we've heard a few opinions and how this may go. So let's just say that Mike is successful, and we are the ones that get the word out. And how do you feel the left is going to take it? They are already putting these barriers up with locking us down and the mask mandates.
Yeah.
But let's just say that this $5 million trick wakes some people up, and there's no way that any court or anybody can refuse it or debunk what Mike is saying. What takes place next, in your opinion?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
And I think they know that, and I think that we're all prepared for that. But I think that this is God's plan. He only knows the future. I don't know the future, and none of us do, which can be kind of frustrating at times. But I think that if we did know it, our heads would explode, and a lot of people
right.
Yep. Sadly, a lot of people would probably go eat their barrel of their gun. But I think that the delay here, although it's been frustrating, is going to mitigate some of that.
Yep.
Because I think if it would have been, I think if a guy would have just said, "No, I'm not leaving," on November 3rd or 4th or 5th, if that guy would have said, "I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere," can you imagine? If that guy would have said, "No, I'm going to command the military to come here and protect me. I'm going to the bunker. We're militarizing this place. I'm not leaving." Now, do I think that should have been done? Yeah, I do.
Yep.
But I don't know everything that he knows. But I'm sure I know this. The chaos, the carnage, the destruction would have been astronomical. I don't know that we would have ever recovered from that.
Yeah, we wouldn't have.
So God has a reason.
Right.
God has a plan for everything. Only He knows. But I'm praying for some clarity on that every day. Amid a lot of other
things. Look at what you've learned. Look at what you've learned, and look at what we all have learned since then.
Oh,
look at what we've learned about rhinos. I mean, I had no idea there was that many.
I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful.
And it is incredible, and that is the reason I believe that God done that, is because, and it felt like we lost, and we had mud on our face for a while. But I am so glad that the people that are waking up, that people that didn't even pay attention to politics, that didn't really care, that didn't feel like they should get involved, are getting involved now. But the truth that has come out since January the 6th in local government and big government and all this stuff about trafficking and all these things that are going on, if our friend would have done exactly what you just said, we wished he would have done, we would have still known nothing about this. And it goes right back to what you were saying about the down ballots. Think about if Trump would have been in office and he did not have to defend himself for 4 years, where would we be? Mm-hmm. He was at battle with the people under him. So he never had a foundation to build off of, because basically he was being impeached the whole time. And I believe.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I believe that if there is a foundation built from the schoolhouse to the White House, that is the only way that we're going to win this war that we're in right now. Go ahead.
No, I couldn't have said it any better. I don't have anything to add now, because I was going to talk about our children. And you know, listen, the most important thing is trying to find ways, age appropriate, of course, to make sure that your kids know the truth. And if that means that you have to homeschool them, although be it less convenient, although be it very expensive, one of you is probably going to have to quit your job. I don't know. But I mean, I'm fortunate where I'm at that this critical race theory is not being taught there. I've sat in. That's another thing you should do. Go sit in on your kids' classes. Don't tell them that you're not allowed. Don't let them tell you that you're not allowed to do that either, by the way, because you pay you pay for those indoctrinators to be there. So that's a public school. You just ask the teacher, hey, when can I come and sit in on a class? And then do it more than once. Do it often. Show up unannounced. Make it uncomfortable for them to try to do their little sneaky little ways. If you think that that's what's going on, if you suspect that's what's going on, then it's probably best just to pull your child out. Don't let them get these young, impressionable minds and ears. Don't let them feminize your boys. Don't let them demasculinize your boys. They're trying to weaken the resistance from the future. Do not let them do that. Absolutely do not. But I just want to say something. I know that we're running out of time here. I just want to say something. I want everybody to know that, and I'm just talking about my platform because I have to do that. I'm talking about God's platform, the Stu Peters Show.
Yes, sir.
I will never sell you down the river. I will never sell you out. I will look you in the eyes right now, and I will promise you that I will never, ever become a Hannity. I've already turned down really big money. I've got people asking me on my Telegram about deals and about advertisers and all this stuff. I will never will I ever sell you out. I am not a hero, but I have walked alongside of you, and everybody that's here, the only reason why this thing is successful is because you are there with me. I'm not anything special. I'm just asking the questions that you want answers to. So when I say I'm the people's bullhorn, I really mean that. That's right. That's what this is. And I just want you to know how humbling it is for me. And it's awkward. It's awkward for me. You know, I never imagined this kind of explosion, and it's awkward. I'm trying to process.
I know exactly. We know exactly what you mean. It blows our minds.
And so when Doug said, at the beginning, the country's most sought after guest, that's not untrue, but it's hard to believe. It's right. Yep. I'm not perfect, and I never will be. And I'm a sinner, and I always will be. And God knows that because He made me. But
that's right.
I'm doing my best to try to process all that and be as transparent as possible. And I'm never going to be a polished journalist. So if I ask the wrong question or stumble over my word or don't know the difference between lead and graphite and graphene, please.
And don't say allegedly.
Yeah. Or say it a lot, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, Stu. If you'd asked me a year ago, just whenever they had the Oklahoma conference and Linwood spoke on stage, would I meet him 6 months later and sit down with him with dinner? I tell you, you're absolutely out of your mind. There's no way that has happened. God's moving mountains for us to get the word out about what's really going on in the country. We just two old rednecks, but He's moving mountains and taking us places I never thought were possible to get the word out, because He loves the truth. And when not only will the truth set you free, God loves the truth, and He will open doors if you keep telling the truth, and you believe in the word. And that's what's taken me and Tim. That's bona fide places. where we're going, and we're very excited to where things are going for us, and we're super excited the way things are going for you.
Psalms 91. Just remember that. Don't be
That's
afraid.
exactly right.
Do not be afraid of anything. Get out there, do the work of God. You are God's children. This is your country. Don't you ever forget it. Fight for it. Unified non-compliance. Just say no. Band together. Do not lose your ground. Stand your ground. Roll your shoulders back. Hold your head up high and fight for your country. This is our only shot. This is go time. It is our last chance. Take a stand now. Don't be pushed around. Do not buy into this. Do not become subservient to the state. It is the worst thing in the world that you can do, because the next step is the gulags. If we let them do this to us, look at everything that has happened. Look at everything that has happened. It isn't easy waking up. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of sleepless nights. There's a lot of discomfort. You're going to lose some friendships, might even lose a marriage. There's a lot of relationships being torn apart, because part of the Great Awakening is the Great Divide as well. You're going to figure out. You're going to figure out a lot of that stuff, but you're going to battle through it, because all of that stuff is temporary. Look at Lynn. You want to talk about a guy who's been separated?
Yes, we know that story.
You know, him with his kids. I mean, but listen, he keeps fighting. He keeps fighting. That's what we have to do. Pick a mentor, pick a leader, pick somebody who's got the strength that maybe you don't have. Pick somebody who has different skill sets than what you have. Get together, band together, feed off of one another. Make it like an AA group. You know, or a church.
That's exactly what we're doing.
You know,
that's exactly what we're doing.
Tell everybody everything that you know, and don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to talk about God. Don't be ashamed to talk about your relationship with Christ. Don't be ashamed to talk about politics. Don't be ashamed to tell people that you know what's really going on. And don't be ashamed when people tell you that you're crazy. Just laugh. Just laugh.
Well, real quick before we let you go, about 2 nights ago, we had a guest on, and what he does is he brings patriot companies that are Christians, that are pro-life, and he puts them on a website. So when you go to a town, you know you're supporting a Christian, patriot, pro-life company, no matter what it is. And what we've done is ask our people in the chat, would they donate to put the stickers on the door and put them on the website to let them know as we bring everybody back together, because that's what God would want us to do.
What a great idea.
Liberty, Businesses for Liberty. Businessesforliberty.com.
I'm going to remember that, and I'll plug it too.
Businesses for Liberty. I can have him on your show. He's awesome. He's from Ireland. His name's Eric. And I'll get him in touch with you. Anybody, here's one thing about it is we're not in competition. We all share guests.
That's right.
You know, I tell you another one would be good for you is Professor Toto, Brad, obviously, Lynn. I think he's already been on, but we all share this information, and we all share followers. And me and Doug's working on a deal of where we got a place where everybody can come find the truth tellers, because there are a lot of charlatans out there selling wolf tickets and things that are basically our goal is, and there's a few out here that's got a lot of following, and basically they're telling their followers, sit right there, don't do nothing. There's a miracle about to happen. Stu, you sit right there and don't you do nothing, because I promise you there's a miracle going to happen. And you believe it or not, they have the biggest following. I know. And if you say anything about them, they will beat you up right here.
They'll defend them to death, because they're selling rainbows and lollipops.
I know. And I know who you're talking about. And it's a battle that I deal with, every day.
I'd rather have half the viewers and patriots are ready to fight for this country. Yep. I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? And we'll still build our audience me and Bonafide, we're going to travel the country. We're going to go to these patriotic rallies. We're going to interview the people at them. We're going to interview the people on stage, and we're going to be podcasting these shows to let people know what's going on in our country and what can we do under the Constitution to fix this country.
The only advice that I would give anybody who wants to do something like that, so you guys can take it. I'm learning too. I'm a student of the game.
Right.
When you ask these people questions, don't let them slide. No matter who they are, do not let them slide. Right. What are you going to do when you take back the House in 2022? Are you, how about this? Here's a question for Kevin McCarthy. Are you going to kick Adam Kinzinger off of the conference? Are you going to kick Liz Cheney off of the conference?
Yep.
And if you're not talking to him, but you're talking to somebody in the Freedom Caucus, maybe you're talking to Louis Gohmert or Paul Gosar, and you ask them, is Kevin McCarthy going to do that? What are you going to do in 2022? Well, we better win 2022. No. That's not what I asked you. That is not what I asked you. All respect,
right.
all respect due, but that is not what I asked you. Are you going to answer the question? And that's what I've learned to do, because it's not disrespectful. These people work for you.
Yep.
Don't ever forget that. They work for you. And if you know what, if they're not cut out for the job, and if they can't take orders from their boss, which is you, then guess what? They can be replaced. That's why we need to fix election integrity.
I got the perfect guest for you, Stu. It's Pastor Greg Locke.
I already had him on.
Oh, you ready?
Yeah.
He's wonderful, isn't he?
Yeah, he said a lot of really good things.
Yep. Hey, Stu, if you would remind everybody how to get in touch with you on all your social media that you still have. And StuPeters.tv.
StuPeters.tv, yes. But the best place the place that I hang out the most, there's two places. I hang out the most in Telegram, which is if you search Stu Peters, you can't find me. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on there. But you have to have this exactly, t.me/Stu Peters.
Right.
So pretty easy. t.me/Stu Peters. And then I hang out on Gab a lot at Real Stu Peters. Okay. Twitter. I don't know how I'm still hanging out there. I just got off my last suspension, and you know what I did. This is great. A final story. We should have a laugh here. The day that I got done with my last 7-day suspension, the day that I came back, I applied for my little blue checky mark. I asked him for account. I'm back. Give me my account verifications.
There we go.
There it is. Yeah. I guarantee you, I'm never going to have a blue checky. They're never going to give it to me. I applied for it.
Just like they're never going to modify.
It's me.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's been a pleasure.
We asked our guests to close us out in prayer. Would you do that for us?
Oh, I would be honored to. Jesus, Lord, please hear not just our words, but hear our passion. Hear the passion that we, as a collective group of your children, feel at the times of our strength. And please bless us with more of that in our times of weakness. Please fill the hearts of the disenfranchised, of the flustered, of the concerned, of the scared. Please fill their hearts with your presence and your bravery. Give them the bravery that they need to ask you for what they need on a daily basis. God, I feel like so many people are scared to ask you. And we know that you love giving. We know that you love giving. You have given us everything. You gave us your only son. You will give us anything that we ask for. And we ask you, please give us the bravery that we need to continue to fight. It's not easy, God. I know that you know it's not easy. I know that you're here with me. But in the hearts of those that may have distanced themselves from you or forgotten that, or have been trapped in the cycle of fake news, propaganda, mis and disinformation, please reach back out, touch those people, fill their hearts with your spirit, with your courage, with your bravery, and please guide them to search and to seek and to fight to be more like you every single day. I pray all this in your son's name. Lord, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You are everything to me. I love you. Thank you for saving me. Thank you so much. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for coming on, Stu. You are an awesome person, and we're honored to have you on.
Yep. And everything is, I'm on all these incredible things. We hear incredible stories about how all these doors are opening, and just like your numbers growing, and ours are growing, man. It's incredible. It's incredible. Just like Candace and people that are running for office are calling us, asking for their help, asking for us to help them. It just absolutely blows my mind. If all these people get elected, we're going to be on top of the world, But I'm going to tell you, man, it was a sure blessing for you to be here. And we just want to thank you. And if there's anything we can help or any word that you want us to get out there, please just share it with us. Okay.
I'm humbled that you guys had me here. Thank you so much. And I'll come back anytime. I loved it. This is the kind of conversation that needs to be had in households, around dinner tables, at bedtime.
Yep.
In America every single day. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hey, Bonafide, stay on for a minute. Thank you, sir.
All right. See you, Stu.
All right, Bonafide, let's get out some information on the events before we hang up. What do you got on the 911 event? Do you got some stuff on that?
Oh, you can go ahead and use, if you want to go get to God and Country. I can't remember what is our website there. Anyway, you can now use the promo code FROG starting today.
GodandCountry.com, promo code FROG.
No, God and Country. No, it's not events. It's Unite. God and Country Unite. Is that it?
I'm not sure.
Go to Brad Barton's. Go to Brad Barton's.
Hold on, guys. Let me go over to Brad's because we want to give you the correct information, and we're trying to help Brad. So it's
and he said he just posted a while ago. He had some kind of bombshell there. So go to his Telegram or his Rumble. We don't even know what it is yet. So
let me make this up real quick. Everybody just hang with us for a minute. Please. Let me make this banner up real quick. Create a banner.
All right, and we got John DeLemmy's event in Naples, Florida on the 20th.
So is this what it should look like, Bonafide? Hold on.
Reunion. We just need to make sure. I don't think the word /frog is on there.
Oh, you said use frog.
Well, what I'm saying is that may be the wrong address. You just need to use frog as the promo code.
Oh, okay. Use frog as your promo code. Go over to Brad Barton. Let me share my page real quick, guys. I know we just want to get, because a lot of people want to come to these events. So let me share my screen. And this is over to Brad's. And come on over here to God and Country Reunion.com. When you go there, click on that. And I don't see any place to put a code in. We're going to have to ask him more about it.
I'm not sure. But just get their address on there. He just said all right, there it is. God and Country Reunion.com. God and Country Reunion.com. And then you got John's event. That's our next one.
Yes, hold on a second.
And guys, we are working on the website for the October 23rd in Aiken, South Carolina. We'll get all the information up there. If you in the Carolinas, Georgia, whatever the case may be, we've got a lot of good speakers. That is October the 23rd in Aiken, South Carolina.
Just hold on, buddy. Hey. So let me get John.
That Stu was an awesome guest, man.
Oh, that guy he could be the next Rush.
I'm gonna tell you, man, he's real good, real humble, and it was an awesome show, and he's absolutely telling the truth.
I don't even know if I'm sharing my screen. Hold on.
No,
Let me make sure I'm on the flyer because it's going to the website. I don't know why. Ay. Well, I didn't. Here's the thing, guys.
How to do it?
Look at this. I didn't even want to interrupt him to run a commercial or nothing. He was just going. I was like, I ain't putting
don't
nothing
forget about
up.
your patches. Get your patch. Get your
All
patch.
right, so let me get that on there real quick.
Man, we can't run up 3 minutes at the end of the show.
No, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just putting this is the link for the patches that me and you use that help us with aches and pains every day. They do amazing things. Lifeway Freedom 21. We're not going to run the commercial now. I'm just saying, come over there. Come over to the.
They do work. I promise you, they do work. I will not lie to you. My name is Bonafide,
and we
and
tell
my
the truth.
hands, which is do not have arthritis no longer.
So listen, guys, Telegram, come on over there. You can find out more about the patches. I'll have some more information on Brad's event in there. The event,
Brad Barton on Facebook,
and you'll find out all the information you need to. But listen, you go down, but put John's information in there as soon as we get off of this call right here for the event down there. And then the week before that event, we're headed to South Dakota. We have press passes. This is not open to the public. And for 3 solid days, they're going to expose the fraud of the you-know-what. And we're going to be broadcasting live from there. We're going up with the Christian radio station.
99.9.
99.9. You're listening to live, and soon to be the Bonafide and Doug Frog News Network will be on that station. That's very exciting for us guys and girls.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm not going to hit you with a bunch of stuff. Stu is amazing, and I believe every word when he says he's been offered big money to be on TV and big money to be on radio, and he won't take the money because he's a truther. I love a man that tells the truth. Anyways, guys, we love you. We appreciate you coming on tonight. We'll catch you again. We might take the night off, and we might not, depending on how things go. We've been going.
I did get confirmed that Lucas is going to be here tomorrow.
All right, so if Lucas is coming on, it's going to be.
Listen, tomorrow night we're going to have our guy that introduced me to prepping 7-8 years ago. Awesome guy of God. He has it's called Off Grid Contracting, and his YouTube is 7 Trumpets Preppers, and he can answer any question you've got. Period.
He can build anything.
He can build anything. I mean, he can build a hot water heater that works off of sunlight. I've seen him build everything, and a real good guy. And go check him out. 7 Trumpets Preppers. And the reason that he has not been on here is because he is a contractor. He does these things, and if he has an emergency call, he has to go take care of the business. So, but tomorrow is the Sabbath, and he said, I am not going to take any calls tomorrow. So he's going to be on the show tomorrow night.
There you go. God and Country event. All right. Yep. Anyways, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night. We love you. Oh, if we just help one person, I think we helped a whole lot more than one tonight. Realize what's going on in our country and how we need to fight for this country. As God would tell us, 2 people together make 11. And when we bring everybody together under God's name, it's a powerful, powerful force. We want to thank you, Froganites, for coming on. We're just going to keep on moving forward, and God is going to lead us in the right direction. We love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.